Welcome back to Quake Champions, ladies and gentlemen. The grenade launcher hasn't returned in Quake Champions. Instead, with a recent E3 patch, we got the Tribolt. In rapid succession, it fires 3 explosive, time-fused bolts. This just calls for using the explosion's shockwaves to gain height. Stand against the wall orthogonally, holding forward so that you don't move. Look right down at your feet. Fire the Tribolt and immediately move your crosshairs vertically up along the wall, then wait for it. The consecutive explosions of the 3 bolts fired will catapult you upwards. Holding forward keeps you close to the wall. The farther apart you manage to place the bolts, the higher you will get. You can even scale the highest vertical climb on Blood Covenant. Tribolt climbing works with all 10 champions we got so far. Nevertheless, there are differences in their behavior. Without much doubt, due to their physics, the ways they gain speed, their speed caps and collision models. Like the grenade launcher, the plasma gun hasn't returned in Quake Champions either. Instead, we've got the Nailgun. And nail climbing in Quake Champions works just as plasma climbing does in Quake III Arena and Quake Live, at least for Anarki. Like before, stand against the wall orthogonally and keep holding forward. Aim down just above the edge where wall and floor meet. Jump and immediately press fire. There are few opportunities to nail climb, or I haven't found them, because most of the walls are uneven. A lot of them have skirting boards at the bottom. Because of those, you cannot stand close enough to the wall to properly begin nail climbing. The sides of the jump pad funnel from Bloodpool to Rocket Launcher and the pillar opposite Mega are the highest vertical climbs on Blood Covenant. The granite reinforcements at the corners are perfectly smooth. Plus, the base of the pillar meets the floor in a square edge, and there are no skirting boards that matter. Perfect conditions. When nail climbing, the champions differ quite a bit in behavior. Best suited seems Anarki with his challenge pro mode-like physics and a speed cap which can be overcome by explosion shockwaves. Zorlak is very similar. Very probably due to their collision models, with some champions the angle of aiming has to be adjusted. Some don't accelerate sufficiently, so the recoil pushes them away from the wall. The same happens to BJ Blazkowicz when double wielding. With Scalebearer and Visor, I couldn't manage to climb properly at all. But maybe I just haven't found the right angles and timing yet. At least in my opinion, these techniques are fun. But do they have any worth in a competitive scenario, e.g. in duel? In other words, what are their costs? I did some experiments and found the following. A single bolt from the Tribolt does a maximum of 16 health points self-damage, 8 to Ranger. So, a perfect Tribolt climb would do 48 health points self-damage and 24 to Ranger. So far, I managed 45 to several champions and 21 to Ranger. A single nailgun shot does a maximum of 2 health points self-damage, 1 to ranger. Obviously, the amount of self-damage depends on how far you are nail climbing. Doing the longest climbs on Blood Covenant did a maximum of 30 damage to Anarki. Especially for those yet unfamiliar with tricking techniques in Quake games, I put links to further information in the video description. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the arena.